What if I told you that weakness is not about how you look? It is not about your job title or the money in your bank account. It is about the words you use. Imagine standing before a man like Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome. He would not be impressed by your status. He would not measure your strength by the size of your muscles. He would simply listen. He would listen for the telltale phrases that give away a weak mind, the words that show you blame the world for your problems and run from your own power. These phrases are not just sounds. They are echoes of an inner surrender. They are the language of procrastination, fear, and a victim mentality. To a Stoic, your words are a diagnostic tool. They reveal the health of your soul. Are you the master of your inner world, or have you handed the keys over to circumstance? In this video, we are breaking down the 7 phrases of weak men, according to the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. More importantly, we will show you what to say instead, to build unshakable inner strength. This is about transforming your identity by transforming your language. On the first phrase of a weak man, it is not my fault. The first and most common phrase is, it is not my fault. When a project fails, a relationship ends, or an opportunity is lost, the weak mind instantly searches for something or someone else to blame. It is the economy, the boss, the traffic, the weather. Anyone or anything will do. As long as the spotlight of responsibility points away, this phrase is a declaration of powerlessness. It is an admission that you believe you are a puppet and the world is pulling your strings. Think about a guy who shows up late to a crucial meeting. He rushes in, flustered, blaming the traffic. To his colleagues, he is just making excuses. But to a Stoic, he is doing something far more damaging. He is telling himself a story where he has no control. The traffic was not his fault, no. But his failure to plan for it was lack. His lack of preparation was his choice. The Stoics teach that while we do not control external events, we have absolute control over our response to them. This is the core of your power. Blaming others is just a comfortable lie to avoid the hard truth of your own shortcomings. As Epictetus said, the beginner blames others, the intermediate student blames himself, but the wise man blames no one. He simply sees events as neutral and starts from there. Marcus Aurelius knew that responsibility was the foundation of character. He constantly reminded himself to look inward. Taking ownership is the first step toward progress. The strong man replaces "it is not my fault" with a simple, powerful statement, "I am responsible." He is not necessarily claiming fault for a random event, but he is taking total ownership of his response and his next move. He asks, "This happened, now what?" In doing so, from them, he takes his power back from circumstance and puts it right where it belongs, inside his own mind. To second phrase of a weak man, "I will do it tomorrow." Next up is the sweet poison of procrastination, "I will do it tomorrow." These words feel like a relief in the moment, but they create a debt that only grows over time. Every time you say tomorrow, you are training your mind to disobey your own commands. You are teaching yourself that your commitments do not matter. This is not just laziness, it is a form of self-betrayal. Think of the person who wants to get in shape. They buy the gym membership, they tell their friends, but when the alarm goes off, they hit snooze and mutter, "I will start tomorrow." Evening comes and they are too tired, so they say, "Definitely tomorrow." Tomorrow becomes this mythical land where all their goals are achieved, but it is a place they actually reach. As the philosopher Seneca warned, putting things off is the biggest waste of life. It snatches away each day as it comes, and denies us the present by promising the future. The weakness here is a fear of the present moment, a fear of discomfort and effort. You are not just postponing a task, you are postponing the person you claim you want to become. Marcus Aurelius was obsessed with the fleeting nature of time. He wrote to himself, "Think of your many years of procrastination, how the gods have repeatedly granted you further periods of grace, of which you have taken no advantage. Understand that your time has a limit. Use it then, or it will be gone, and never in your power again." A strong person knows that life is only lived now. They replace I will do it tomorrow, with the discipline of, I will do it now. Even a small action is a vote for the person they intend to become. They do not wait for motivation. They create it with action, understanding that the burn of discipline is temporary, while the sting of regret lasts a lifetime. 3. The third phrase of a weak man. That is impossible. The third phrase that reveals a mind locked in a self-made prison is, that is impossible. This statement is almost never about reality. It is a shield we use to protect ourselves from the fear of failure. The moment you declare something impossible, you give yourself permission to quit before you even start. You surrender all responsibility to be creative, resilient, or courageous. Imagine an entrepreneur with a game-changing idea, but they see the obstacles, the lack of funding, the big competitors, the technical hurdles. They tell themselves, it is impossible for me to succeed. They are not making a rational calculation. They are building a cage out of their own beliefs. They have mistaken difficult for impossible. The Stoics taught that our job is to focus on our effort, not the outcome. A strong mind does not predict the future. It applies itself completely to the present challenge. Marcus Aurelius gave himself this powerful directive. Do not think that what is hard for you to master is humanly impossible. But if a thing is humanly possible, consider it to be within your reach. This does not mean you should think you can flap your arms and fly. It means you should not let your perception of difficulty stop you from trying things that are, in fact, achievable. It is a call to test your limits, instead of just assuming them. The strong person removes that is impossible from their vocabulary. They ask a different question. How can I make this possible? This simple shift turns them from a spectator into a problem solver. An obstacle becomes a puzzle, not a dead end. They might not succeed every time, but they will never fail by default. They live by the wisdom of Seneca, who said it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. 4. The fourth phrase of a weak man. If only, or I wish. This next one is the sound of a mind lost in a daydream. The language of, if only and I wish. If only I had more money. I wish I were more confident. If only I had started 10 years ago. This is the language of helplessness. It is like staring at a locked door and wishing it would open, instead of looking for the key. Wishing is not a plan. It is a substitute for a plan. It puts all the power in external conditions and drains the present moment of all its energy. Think of the person who complains about their job but spends every evening just wishing for a better career. They say, if only I had a different degree, I could do what I love. They dream about a perfect future, but take 0 steps to create it. No online courses, no networking, not even reading a book on the subject. The wishing is just a story they tell themselves to stay comfortable and stuck. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offered the perfect antidote. Do not seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it does happen. Then your life will flow well. This concept, known as a love of fate, is not about being passive. It is about radically accepting reality as the starting point for any real action. You can only act now, with the cards you had been dealt. A strong person knows that wishing is a waste of the only thing they truly own. This very moment, they replace, if only, with, I will. They do not wish for confidence. They take one small, scary step to build it. They do not say, if only I had started sooner. They say, I will start now. The world does not respond to wishes. It responds to work. 5. The fifth phrase of a weak man. He made me angry. The fifth phrase is a profound admission of emotional immaturity you hear every single day. He made me angry. Listen closely. No one can make you. Nobody can reach into your mind and flip your emotional switch. This phrase is a lie we tell ourselves to outsource the responsibility for our own inner peace. When you say this, you are admitting you have no emotional defenses, that any random person or event can dictate your state of mind. Imagine being cut off in traffic. Her heart pounds, you get hot, and you yell, that guy made me so mad. But did he? The other driver performed an action. That is it. It was your judgment about the action. That was disrespectful. He put me in danger. That created the anger. Marcus Aurelius saw this with crystal clarity. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is one of the most freeing ideas in all of philosophy. Your emotions are not inflicted on you. They are generated by you. And often the consequences of your anger are far worse than whatever caused it in the first place. The strong person is the sole guardian of their inner peace. They replace, "He made me angry. I am feeling angry." This tiny shift is monumental. The first is blame. The second is observation. By observing the feeling instead of becoming it, you create a space for reason to step in. You can then ask, is this anger useful? Is my judgment true? You take ownership of your emotions, not as a burden, but as the ultimate expression of your personal power. Sixth phrase of a weak man. I already know that. Our sixth phrase pretends to be a sign of confidence, but it is really the armor of a fragile ego. I already know that. These three words slam the door shut on wisdom. The person who says this is not interested in learning. They are interested in being right. They build a fortress around what they currently believe, refusing to admit there might be gaps in their understanding. This intellectual arrogance is the enemy of all growth. Think of an employee in a training seminar. The speaker brings up a topic they have heard before. Instead of listening for a new angle or a deeper insight, they mentally check out and whisper, I already know all this. They have mistaken familiarity for mastery. They have chosen the temporary comfort of feeling knowledgeable over the permanent power of becoming wiser. For the Stoics, the pursuit of wisdom was a lifelong journey that demanded humility. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, led by example. He wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." It is the person who continues in his self-deception and ignorance who is harmed. The strong person enters every situation as a student. They replace the dismissive, I already know that, with the curious question, what can I learn from this? They listen patiently, searching for a new layer of meaning. They would rather be wrong today so they can be wiser tomorrow. True confidence is not pretending to have all the answers. It is having the courage to seek them. The seventh phrase of a weak man, what will they think? The final phrase that gives away dependent mind is the anxious question, what will they think? This question is the compass of someone who has lost their own internal guidance system. Their self-worth is not a fixed point inside them. It is a flickering reflection in the eyes of others. They are a slave to external validation. Every decision, from their career to the clothes they wear, is filtered through the fear of judgment. This fear keeps them from taking risks, speaking their truth, and living an authentic life. Think of an artist who creates something they love, but is terrified to share it. What if they hate it? What if they think I am a fool? The joy of their work is poisoned by the fear of how it will be received. They have handed an imaginary jury the power to define their worth. Marcus Aurelius was baffled by this human tendency. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. He constantly reminded himself to ignore the fleeting judgments of others and focus only on his own character and actions. Stoicism teaches that your virtue is the only true measure of your worth. Praise, criticism, reputation, it is all just noise. The strong person builds their self-worth from the inside out. They replace, what will they think, with, is this the right thing to do? They act based on their principles, not for applause. They understand that seeking approval makes you a servant to others. This does not mean being antisocial. It means recognizing that your primary duty is to your own rational mind. When you stop needing others to feel good about yourself, you become truly free. Conclusion. So there they are, the 7 phrases that keep a mind in chains. It is not my fault. I will do it tomorrow. That is impossible. If only. He made me angry. I already know that. And what will they think? These are not just words. They are spells we cast that create a life of weakness and reaction. But the wisdom of the Stoics gives us the antidote. Replace blame with responsibility. Replace procrastination with action. Replace limits with curiosity. Replace wishing with willpower. Replace reactivity with composure. Replace arrogance with humility. And replace fear of judgment with the power of your own principle. This is not just a language trick. It is a fundamental shift in how you see the world and your place in it. It is the difference between being a leaf tossed in the wind and being the rock that stands firm in the storm. Your words are the rudder of your soul. Steer them wisely. If this message hit home, show it by liking this video and subscribing for more practical wisdom. Then, go to the comments and make a declaration. Right? I am responsible to lock in your commitment to a life of strength.